Tonight, Australians reminded to get tested for bowel cancer, with 1 in 4 people not taking the test, and a truck driver escaped serious injury after an incident at Broken Hill.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. The Cancer Council is urging people to get tested for bowel cancer after new statistics revealed areas in regional South Australia have some of the highest rates of the disease in the state. The figures also showing only 4 in 10 people take the test, and doctors are warning to be vigilant.
It's the second most common cancer in Australia, and it can be deadly. Bowel cancer is becoming increasingly prevalent in regional Australia, and this doctor is warning it can be a silent killer.
It can present with no symptoms at all, which means that you may not even know you have it.
New figures reveal disadvantaged areas experience higher than average rates of the disease. Similarly, these areas also have some of the lowest bowel screening rates.
People don't want to talk about anything below the belly button.
In 90% of cases, if the bowel cancer is discovered early, you have a strong chance of survival. Doctors say taking the test is less daunting than you think.
You just scoop, put it in here, put it in a plastic bag. We take it to the lab for you.
Free screening tests are mailed to people between the ages of 50 and 74 every second year. Only 4 in 10 people complete these tests, and the Cancer Council wants those numbers to grow.
If we can increase that from 4 in 10 to 6 in 10, we can save up to 84,000 lives over the next 20 years.
But another positive step in reducing the risk is keeping a healthy lifestyle.
Eating lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, getting plenty of exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, not smoking, and limiting your alcohol.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Health advocates are calling for people to get tested for syphilis in a bid to stop the spread of the infectious disease. Since 2013, it's moved through a number of states, including South Australia. The disease has affected more than 2,600 people nationwide, including a baby in Port Augusta who was born with the infection 2 years ago.
We must be very, very wary, we must test, and we must make sure that there are no further cases of congenital syphilis.
Anyone wanting to get tested can visit their local health service or GP. A truck driver has escaped serious injury after an incident this morning involving his road train rolling over just outside Broken Hill this morning. The incident happened about 20 kilometres east of the Silver City on the Barrier Highway. The driver was transporting bales of hay to Wilcannia at the time. It's understood the driver overcorrected when a wind gust hit the truck. He managed to walk away with only minor injuries, and the road train was cleared this afternoon. Gladstone is celebrating the completion of 3 major upgrades to the town's facilities, some of the projects completed through the $1 million drought funding initiative.
Drought funding is making a splash in Gladstone. Local Progress Group member Tim Zander saying upgrades to the town's oval pool and park have boosted town morale.
Yeah, we've had a couple of projects that have been on the books for quite a few years, and it's been a good shot in the arm to get them completed.
Tim believes Gladstone's long-awaited addition of female change rooms to the local swimming pool and a new water capture system for the footy oval will pay dividends over summer.
To have it done all in one hit and paid for by the government was fantastic for us, because we're just a small committee that struggled to raise funds.
The town's Tresilva Park having its own date with the barber. A collection of trees deemed dangerous to walk under cut down.
There's been 40 to 50 pine trees removed and about 20 gums pollarded.
Gladstone's projects among several completed, part of the federal government's $1 million drought fund. The Northern Areas Council saying they're pleased to see the projects receive such a positive reception from the community.
Community feedback has been very, very good on every project we've done.
The project's being completed before a tight deadline.
To get all that work done by the 30th of June was a lot of work, but we've achieved it. So our staff need to be congratulated on getting that done.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Coltana solar farm near Whyalla is a step closer to reality, with completion proposed for 2020. Foodland's business manager says they'll be reaping the benefits of renewable energy and hopes to lower prices for customers.
Keeping the lights on for regional supermarkets, Foodland is now using renewable energy after joining a consortia deal with SACOM and Cymec Energy.
This is a great opportunity for us to lower our overheads and put that money back into our businesses.
Foodland employ 9,000 South Australians throughout its 124 supermarkets. It keeps them competitive.
The consortia consists of manufacturing, retail and agricultural companies, including handling group Vitera.
What happens when businesses decide to act as a collective and not accept the status quo? And that was perhaps been the most successful part.
Business owner Bruce Fidz says the future is looking bright.
It's a small business here in Whyalla, and it's small businesses right throughout the Spencer Gulf that are Foodland businesses that can take advantage of this deal.
And CEO Rebecca Knoll says this consortia will create a ripple effect for cheaper prices for South Australians.
From paddock to plate, South Australia's consortia is providing benefits to all South Australians. This is not just a benefit for the resources sector, this is a benefit for the agricultural sector and all South Australians.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Today marked the full takeover of Nearstar by its biggest shareholder, global commodity trader Trafigura. The owner of Port Pirie's biggest employer recently went through significant financial trouble, leading to the company takeover. The independent member for Frome says today's milestone marks a change in attitude towards the town's smelter.
Previously, our Port Pirie plant was just a small little dot on their international group. Port Pirie is now an integral part of the Nearstar global operation.
The group is now looking toward Port Pirie Smelter's next phase of operation in e-waste. Still to come tonight, the wrap-up of last night's Broken Hill Council meeting and a makeover for the shearing shed at Jamestown Showgrounds. Welcome back. Broken Hill could soon be seeing a new police station following what's been labelled a productive council meeting last night. A block of land next to the Visitor Information Centre is now up for sale and could be the site.
Could this be the site for Broken Hill's new police station?
If the police decide that they are interested in buying it, then with the opportunity is for them to construct their new 24-hour police station on it.
In last night's confidential matters, councillors voted to subdivide this block of land on Bromide Street. The goal to keep the popular headframe and car park where it is, but sell the area next to it. While nothing is set in stone, it's the hope of council that New South Wales Police buys the site for its next station.
Potentially the police station could have been on the edge of town. It will be in town. It means that we'll not only have, a workforce in town, but we'll also have that security and that presence in place.
But where does that leave the West Darling Preservation Society and the popular train ride that currently operates on the land? Mr Ronkin says council has been in talks with the group about relocating to a local park.
The police are interested in buying that block and West Darling Machinery Preservation need to move. They're quite happy to move to Queen Elizabeth Park, so it's a bit of a win-win outcome for everyone.
At the moment, the market value of the land is commercial in confidence while negotiations take place. Council plans to invest the money made from selling the land back into the community.
If we can get the price, the market value for it, it's a great little boost to the council coffers and money that it can then look to use to sink back into developing other community assets.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Jamestown Showgrounds is looking to attract national sheep shearing finals for the first time in more than a decade. $200,000 is going towards a pavilion facelift, which operators hope will attract major competition.
Jamestown Show's president, David Cooper, only had one kind of fleecing in mind when $200,000 was put on the table, a new shearing pavilion. He says the money will help bolster the grounds to host bigger and better events.
The ability to host national finals in South Australia, so that requires a 6-stand facility, which this is, and we haven't had national finals in South Australia for over 12 years, I think.
The community delighted with the opportunity to better showcase the local wool industry, eyeing off getting the national event to coincide with another one of the town's milestones.
We're aiming for 2021, hopefully. It's a bit of a big year for Jamestown with $150 a year.
Where the public can view the shearing and then wool handling and wool display.
The Society winning $150,000 through a Federal Foundation for Rural and Regional Renewal grant. An additional $30,000 from local wool growers and $36,000 from Heinegger also contributing.
It's a very successful local show. It's one that's really held its own, and I think it's had a bit of a revitalisation over the last couple of years as well.
The new facilities allowing for more education and training activities to take place.
2 TAFE learner shearer schools a year, possibly 3, and Heinegger want to run equipment evenings, grinding evenings throughout the year as well.
The group hoping to get the facilities up and running by spring.
Probably 2 weeks before this coming show, 6th and 7th of October, so definitely around mid-September is the target.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Locals in Broken Hill sat and had a chat with the city's police officers over a cup of joe today. In its 2nd year, the Coffee with a Cop initiative provides people an opportunity to talk with local law enforcement about whatever topic they want. Officers inviting everyone to Time on Argent for some morning caffeine and a chinwag.
We do want to get in and get to know people and let them know, even though we're not born, bred and raised here, we are here to support them and to help them, and we want to be part of their community.
Police say they hope to hold more of these events around the region. Homeowners are being reminded to be wary of the items that they flush down the sewer after new pictures revealed blockages in 2 local wastewater systems. SA Water says the Port Augusta and Whyalla plants were clogged due to a build-up of wet wipes, makeup wipes and even T-shirts. The water body is urging people to think twice before flushing items that don't easily break down. The Far West Country University Centre is looking to help Broken Hill's high school students as they prepare for their HSC exams. Its aim is to support senior students in their studies to help them manage during a challenging time.
Educational support sessions such as this and interactive workshops are designed to help students achieve better classroom results, helping students put a plan in place to achieve the best outcomes.
I'm teaching them some strategies around success and wellness, so study timetabling, note-taking, revision.
It's called the STAR program, Skills to Academic Reward, and it's designed to break down the barrier of higher education.
So if we're teaching them some skills around how to study, the reward is their results at the end.
During today's session, students were encouraged to work out a timetable for their week, including school, free time, sport commitments, and most importantly for many teenagers, sleep. From there, it was about setting goals and making a to-do list.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps because it means you can do more in your day and you're not wasting time.
Yeah, it was quite helpful actually, just trying to get it all organised before the HSC coming about.
But the program is not just about academic achievements. Managing to balance schoolwork with a social life can be tough for Year 11s and 12s.
Wellness as well, because we're trying to give them strategies to, in that time of pressure when they do have exams, and that will affect their overall well-being around that time.
The Country University Centre is working with senior students from both of the city's high schools and also Menindee. Follow-up workshops will be held with the kids as exams approach. Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have this week's fish and tips and the weather details with Britt. Hello again. Local Whyalla business owners say that Cuddlefest bumper season has been the best yet. Businesses have been reaping the rewards after an influx of more than 3,000 tourists flocked to the region to witness the cuttlefish migrating.
Cuddlefest is wrapping up, with this year's festival most certainly making waves.
A very big increase since last year, and more people even in the community are talking about it. People in Adelaide are talking about it.
The increased tourist numbers, evidence of its success.
They're coming to Whyalla for the cuttlefish and having a really great experience, and are really surprised by Whyalla. So it's really exciting to see that numbers increasing, and just the word of mouth. People are so excited to hear and talk about cuttlefish.
Divers say the cool temperatures were worth it to see these creatures.
We had huge numbers of cuttlefish out there, more than 1 per square metre in some areas, and the The depth of the water, most of the time it's only about 1 metre of water, which is very clear.
While the numbers of interstate and international visitors were up, locals also embraced all that is Cuddlefest.
I think our local community is now celebrating the fact that it is something that's bringing tourists into town. Our locals are getting in the water too.
While Cuddlefest fever is almost over, business owners plan to ride its wave of popularity to ensure tourists continue to visit the region all year round.
Because the amount of visitor economy dollars that go in the city, it's not just the accommodation houses, it's the petrol stations, it's the pharmacies, it's all the add-ons.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Now let's hear from the experts with this week's Fish and Tips.
It's been fantastic. Last weekend, I would have sworn there was a free barbecue going on out on the water. There were so many boats down the boat ramp, and I believe that's because people have been catching their King George whiting, working the spaces from the creeks to Eastern Shoal, over the top end of Wards Beach, and also around in the Barrows Beach area known as the Berryweed. So they're still catching a good few King George. There's a few salmon trout, which we love seeing those for the kids. There are actually plenty of those around at the moment. Go to the runoff creeks as they're starting to pour out and you'll get yourself a good feed of that. Snapper, what I've been told, is just around the creek areas on the local drops. Just be a little bit patient, they will come, and they're not real big in size, but they are yummy. That's all we've got for this week. We'll see you next week.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Well, there are some kingfish around up around the top of the Gulf. With that up around there, you could safely assume they'd be down around the powerhouse, and wouldn't be surprised if they're around in Port Patterson and Chinaman Creek as well. So nice catches of garfish if you get a nice calm night, particularly with a moonless night or a bit of cloud cover. They're coming to the surface and people are getting good catch of them through the mangroves, and also some nice tummy rust from down along the jetties along the shacks as well. Some King George whiting have been found, but they're a little bit patchy. Some nice ones coming out of the Flinders Channel. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Now time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, Louise. It's been another fine day with a little more cloud cover than we've seen so far this week. Port Augusta reached a top of 16, Port Lincoln and Port Pirie 15, and it warmed to 14 degrees at Whyalla, Broken Hill and Adelaide. Looking to the clouds now, where we can see the high pressure system still sitting stationary south of the Bight, where it will remain until tomorrow night. And keeping with tomorrow, winds south to southwesterly at up to 15 knots with seas at 1 metre, and the sun will rise just after 7:10. We'll see mostly sunny conditions about the Gulf tomorrow with areas of frost in the mid-north. Port Augusta expecting a max of 17 degrees, Woodner and Port Pirie 16, 15 the top for Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Corn and Kadina, Coffin Bay, Broken Hill, Cleve and Adelaide all 14, Clare 12. Now let's look ahead to the weekend. Port Lincoln and Cleve both looking fine Saturday and Sunday. Woodner kicking off the weekend with a frosty morning but then remaining partly cloudy. Whyalla and Kadina both fine through the weekend. Port Augusta expecting areas of morning frost on Saturday ahead of a sunny day, Sunday partly cloudy. Port Pirie looking fine and partly cloudy across the weekend. Clare with a frosty start on Saturday but remaining partly cloudy. And finally Broken Hill also looking fine both Saturday and Sunday. And Louise, that's it from me.
Lovely, thank you for that, Britt. And that's your local news this Thursday. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.